Yeah, but one's for health reason, one's for disease.
Exactly. But then if you want to go to technical, so fiqh scholars don't really look at etiquettes really much. Etiquettes usually go out the door. That's another secondary view, right? They're just looking at here, what goes down there, right? Toy car or whatever, actually whatever they want, or it goes down your stomach. So here that other scholars have looked at that, if it's benefiting you, nourishing you, then it's not okay. If it's not nourishing you, then it's okay to do. Hanafis are just only care about nourishing on what goes down the throat. So they stop everything right there, from smoking, from hookah to vaping to inhalers. So if you take the Hanafi opinion, then you can never fast. So they'll have to feed 30 people every rest of their life. And that's something Allah, that's a sickness Allah ordained for them. There's nothing to feel bad about. That's something that they have to deal with. It's like diabetes, kind of. It's a chronic illness that they have. So those acts that require nothing but are dislike, tasting food. So tasting food actually is dislike to do that. But if there's a need, then you take it out of the dislikeness, right? So go around and just like testing food for no reason, then that's dislike, makruh. But if you are a professional chef, or if you're cooking for your family that night, then there's no more dislikeness out of that. You're actually trying to taste it, right? Thorough rinsing of the mouth. When you make wudu in Ramadan, it says, and when you're fasting, it says this to wash. Don't like gargle like this right in the middle in the front of your mouth and then spit out. You don't have to do that. Normally, you do the whole gargling in the back of the throat, this, and so forth. Not necessarily making all the noise, but anyhow, some people go really weird in the bathroom, but anyhow, make all type of noises. But the gargling, the Prophet actually said to gargle thoroughly, but not while you're fasting. Intentionally grabbing or spit in your mouth and swallowing back again. Only kids do this stuff. I think I did it when I was small. Just like, you think about your drinking, it's obnoxious, but anyhow. Delaying the suhoor to such extent that one has doubt in remaining of the night. To do that purposely, where, I don't know if, right to the last second you want to eat something. Yeah, who does that? I'm not too sure. Kissing or touching or hugging that might lead to intercourse. This is dislike. If you can control yourself, that's different. Prophet used to kiss his wife while they're fasting. And some people say, you kiss your wife while you're fasting? He's all, but you can't control yourself as much as I can control myself. So once again, it's up to your control and your self-restraint. Okay? Do anything that might weaken them while they're to break their fast. So you're fasting and you're like, no, I want to be tough. I want to go to the gym. I want to continue my gym, routine. But if you know that's going to make you faint, then fasting overrules that. Okay? Just, I don't know, do some push-ups or something like that at home, or jumping jacks or something, or do it after Tarawih or something. I don't know, it's really extreme. Some people, at least some of the youth I know, do that. Okay? But doing that purposely, saying that, no, I want to continue my exercise routine, it's good, you should, right? But if that's going to make you weaken yourself and you're going to break fat, then don't purposely do that, right? That's something that's extra, if you will. Brushing the teeth with toothpaste with no valid excuse, or mouthwash. Okay, you can use toothpaste, you can use mouthwash. But if you know that's going to cause that might go down the throat, then it's dislike to do that. So just do a dry brushing, or use the miswak stick, if you will, if you want to be, or if you want to just take some mouthwash or just kind of just push it in the mouth in the front, then that's fine. And we talked about the hadith last week about the Prophet Allah loving the smell of a person who's foul. So there's no shame. But I know you're a worker that wouldn't, and your boss in your interview would not, appreciate that. So there's room for that, if you will. Let's go over the manners of fasting really quick. Some of the etiquettes of fasting. Number one is taking the pre-dawn meal, the suhoor. Prophet said that to take the suhoor, there's barakah in it, right? Take the suhoor also to be different than the Jews when they used to fast, right? And there's multiple other hadith that the angels come down for, gather the people who eat suhoor. So there's a lot of benefit. Who wouldn't want to eat before? I know it's the whole thing about waking up 4 in the morning, which is like, but Allah puts, subhanAllah, makes you do some really interesting things in Ramadan. You have this energy to do that. So, and that could be that a cup of water you can leave at your bedhead if you're not those people that like to wake up, and you have your little alarm 10 minutes before Fajr starts, and you can just drink that. Alhamdulillah, that's good. Alhamdulillah, that's if you can't really wake up. You have to wake up for Fajr anyhow. So you have to wake up anyhow. So it's good to pray Fajr at the beginning. Right? Number two, to delay that meal to the end. Not to like the last second, but the Prophet used to leave it to the end. Where they said that I don't want to just go over the hadith, right? Oh, here it goes, here. So the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that, the Sahabi mentioned that we took suhoor with the Prophet ﷺ, then stood for the prayer. I asked, what was the interval between the suhoor and the adhan? It said it was sufficient to recite 50 verses of the Quran. So that's how much, which is like, I don't know, it might take you almost like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. So that we used to eat suhoor up to before we pray, right? So that means that that's how long. They say that's how long the iqamah used to be, right? Not the adhan used to be. So sometimes you see that those like prayer charts, you see the imsak, I don't know if you guys ever seen that, which is like 10 minutes before Fajr, and you're like, what is that about? It's people try to understand this hadith and to say that that's what it means. That's how long it'll take to recite 50 verses. Here it's not talking about that. It's talking about from how long the Prophet will actually start the salah. It means from the adhan to the iqamah. Giving people enough time to do what? Make wudu, right? Rinse out their mouth, get to the masjid. That's what that means. So I don't really tell people to follow that imsak ruling where people say you have to start your fast 10 minutes before Fajr. It's not. There's an opinion for that, but I'm telling you where that opinion comes from now. Okay. To hasten to break one's fast for Maghrib. So Maghrib's coming. Once it comes in, to break your fast immediately. Don't wait till after you pray Maghrib. They said the Christians used to do that. Used to wait till they could see all the stars in the sky. And I believe they said some of the Shia do that. They wait until it's like completely dark and then they break their fast. Right? But here the Prophet used to wait right when the Maghrib comes in, even though it's still kind of bright. Right? Obviously we know that's still redness in the sky when it's bright.
So question about that imsak, so meaning that we stop there or before that?
So I'm saying this to just take off that column out of your calendar.
This is supposed not to.
Yeah, so if it says imsak at 4:50, Fajr is 5 o'clock,
yeah.
That means eat until 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay.
So people understood that hadith, I think there's that differently. That's what I'm trying to
Not stop at the end, like not stop.
No.
Nice.
So that's the thing. So it's mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ used to have two adhans. That Bilal used to do one, telling people that you have like Fajr is about to come in. So either stop your tahajjud, or pray your witr, or finish up your suhoor, and then Maktoum, used to be another, not Maktoum, what's his name? I'm forgetting the Sahabi, I forgot, he's a blind Sahabi. He used to make the other adhan for Fajr. So it used to mean that Bilal used to go up, and by the time he comes back down, the other Sahabi used to go up and make the other adhan. So just kind of getting people like, finish up your food. Because once the adhan comes out, you're supposed to stop. So making people know that, okay, let's wrap up this fried chicken or whatever it is, right? And just get it down so you can finish. You shouldn't eat fried chicken though, that's kind of bad, that's not good. Okay, so hastening the fasting, right? So the Prophet said people will remain on the right path as long as they hasten breaking the fast, if you will. Like I said, because other religions used to do this, it's the way of the Sunnah of the Prophet, do it as fast as you can. Another thing is breaking fast with dates. Okay, so I have my little difference opinion on this. They mentioned this in the books. And I told you, I think this is more a sunnah of custom, not a sunnah of guidance. That fast dates is something that was there for the Prophet ﷺ at the time, and it wasn't mangoes, it wasn't coconuts, or who knows, anything that other might be healthy that the Prophet would use. So, but they said that of the hadith here, the Prophet will break his fast with fresh dates. That's like that moist dates, the ones you buy, those big old steak dates, I call them majjul dates, right? Or that he'll use dry dates. And if he didn't have anything else, then he will drink water. And if you're doing it out of the love of the Prophet, inshallah, you get reward for that. I don't have a problem with that if you do that, right? But if you want to eat, a mango or a baked samosa, not a fried samosa, but a baked samosa, you actually bake it, then yeah, that's fine. The other thing is to, next slide, sorry, is to make dua before breaking the fast. Instead of like talking and chit-chatting or watching TV before a fast comes in, or arguing about some kind of nonsense, just put yourself in a corner and just make dua. Right? There's a hadith here that the Prophet ﷺ mentions here. Sorry, I just went really fast. Ibn Umar holding his beard with his hand and cutting. Oh yeah. Sorry, what am I reading? This is the dua. Yeah, this is the dua that Prophet ﷺ used to make. ذهب الذم وثبت وابتلت العروق وثبتت الأجر إن شاء الله. So the Prophet used to say that when the fast is broke, that the thirst has gone, the arteries are moist. So literally that's when you're dehydrated. When you drink water, like it goes in your bloodstream, it actually makes your veins get water replenished, if you will, and your muscles and so forth. And the reward is sure, right? And there's another dua people used to recite, all the different ones that you could recite. Allah that by this means that this risk that you give us that we've broken our fast and so forth. You guys could recite that, or anyone, or you could just say Allah, forgive me, save me from the fire, hellfire, forgive my parents, whatever it might be, cure my sickness or someone else, whatever. The point is that dua at this time is acceptable. It's not rejected, as I mentioned. So to make that right before you break your fast, 5-10 minutes, you sit by yourself and you do your dua.
Is that true that there is said sunnah that dua before breaking fast is the most compelling or fulfilled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is that?
Yeah, so it's mentioned that it's not rejected. So that it's almost like the dua when you're traveling and stuff like this. So this is one of the times. And if you think about it, why? It's because you're in a time where you're eager to eat. And you want to sit there with your food. I mean, you can still get your food ready. I'm not saying I get food ready. But by you just sitting there by your plate and just making dua and stuff like that, you're taking away all your desires, you're pushing it, and you're focusing on Allah at that time, which is actually pretty virtuous, if you will. Let's go over Taraweeh really quick. I know I went over 12. Let me see if I can kind of knock it out. So here it's mentioned the year before the Prophet passed away, he went out during the night, one of the nights in Ramadan, and led Salah. And then the second night he did so. And then some Sahaba saw this and started following him, started standing behind him. And the next night he went out again, third night. And then he starts seeing that there's a lot of people gathering behind him. So the fourth night he didn't go out. And everyone was waiting for him. And then when he came out for Fajr, he said, I was sleeping. I just feared that if I would come out, that Allah will make this compulsive upon you, make it fard upon you, obligatory upon you, so then I didn't come out. These narrations don't mention how much raka'at, how many cycles of prayer that the Prophet prayed with them, but just mention that he came out and then they gathered and then he stopped. This is known as a Taraweeh prayer, if you will. In the hadith, it's called Qiyamul Layl, right? It's called Qiyam, right? And they never use the word Taraweeh. Taraweeh is a word that came later on, and I'll tell you how that came. Then, during the time of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, people would get up at night and do special prayers like this, in groups, in their houses and so forth. It was only during the time of Umar radiallahu anh, where he saw people in the masjid gathering, and they said, what's going on? So it's better that I gather people under one imam. And he mentioned this Sahabi named Ubay ibn Ka'b radiallahu anh, who was very known to know a lot of Quran. And then he appointed another Sahabi to lead the women. One person lead the men, another one lead the women, which is very interesting. Doesn't mean we have to do that today, but anyhow, it shows the attention he gave to women. And then he said, someone said, are you starting up something new? He said, no, this is what the Prophet used to do. I'm just reinventing it. So he said, this is a bid'ah hasana. This is a good bid'ah, I mean good innovation I'm doing. Innovation, I mean like a new thing in religion, but a new thing that I'm starting up, if you will. But there's presence of that in the life of the Prophet, right? So it wasn't like something totally new, if you will. Okay? Now, some people said that Umar radiallahu anh, the narration, the majority of narrations is that he appointed Ubay ibn Ka'b radiallahu anh to lead the Sahaba in 20 raka'at, 20 cycles of prayer. There is a narration that mentioned that he led them in 8. Okay? So there is that. And then there's a famous one that I mentioned last week, that Aisha radiallahu anha mentioned that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would pray, the Allah's Messenger prayed at night in Ramadan and in other months, 13 cycles of prayer, or 11 cycles of prayer, there's 2 narrations, in the night prayer. And we talked about, the key wording is there is what? In Ramadan and outside Ramadan, which we know Taraweeh is not outside Ramadan. Okay? So anyhow, but there is a narration that Umar radiallahu anh led them for 8, but the majority is at 11 to 20. So all of the scholars, all of the madahib, from the Hanafis, from the Shafi'is, from the Hanbalis, And the opinion of one of the opinions of Imam Malik is that it's 20 rakats or 20 cycles for Tarawih. Okay. The 8 that's mentioned in this hadith is talking about tahajjud, which is a little different than Tarawih, if you will. Right? That's just like extra you do at the last third of the night. Okay. So where does the 8 come from? Some people said that it's come from this one narration about Omar told him to pray 8, and then this hadith here about Aisha radiallahu anha mentioned that Prophet prayed 8 in Ramadan, outside Ramadan. But I already told you how to explain that already. Okay. So hold on. So what do we do? So some scholars said that Omar radiallahu anhu, how do we understand the two narrations? Some people said that Omar radiallahu anhu said 8, and there was a long 8. Some of the narrations mentioned that it was very long, that people had to start leaning on the walls or on a stick. So Omar changed it to 20 and make it shorter. Okay. So they're saying that there's an opinion from Omar to do 8 or 20. So therefore there should be no argument. So some people said no, 8 is abrogated. So Omar started 8, but then he did 20. So some people look at it that way. And some people say the 8 narration is weak and we don't look at it else. So then you have all types of opinions, right? So therefore, if somebody prays 8, there's an opinion for that. We let them do it, we shouldn't argue. If they do 20, there's a strong opinion on that. Therefore, you definitely shouldn't argue against that, and then you should continue. In the Haram, in Mecca, they've been doing 20 ever since the Umar started it. Imam Malik has an opinion of 36. Okay, where does 36 come from? 36 comes from because he has a strong opinion that you follow what the people of Medina used to do. So what did the people of Medina used to do? People of Medina was known that they would pray 36. Where do you get 36 from? 36, it's because the people in Mecca, they'll pray 4, and then they'll take a break. So Tarawih means to take a rest. That's what literally the word means. It means restings, if you will. Why? Because every 4, what they do, we do most of us sit down for like maybe 1 minute, and then the imam gets up. Sometimes the imam gets up right away. We barely have any time to drink a little bit of water. But anyhow. So that means he took, Tarawih is plural for the word rest. That means that he took a rest of people. That's why. So what they used to do in Mecca is when they used to pray 4 and they used to take a rest, people used to do what at that time? Is make tawaf really quick. And back in that time, it wasn't like thousands of people. It was just, so going around 7 times, you could knock that out like in like 5 minutes. So the people in Medina is like, hey, we don't have the Kaaba here. So they get to do tawaf. What are we going to do? So they used to pray 4 extra by themselves. So how many breaks are there? Every time there's a break after every 4. So after 4 there's a break 1. After 8 there's a break 2. After 12 there's a break 3. After 16 there's a break 4. And if you add 4 here, 4, 8, 12, 16. So then the people of Medina was adding 16 extra. That's how they got 36. So that's why they prayed 36. So they'll pray 4 with the imam and then do 4 individually. 4 with the imam, 4 individually. So that's where he gets that opinion of 36 from. Now you understand where the opinion of 36 comes from. So 8 was no one ever talked about 8. For 1300 years, all the Muslims only talked about 20. Then they started to introduce this 8 later on. So it's actually something that's fairly recent, if you will. Right?
How recent is that?
1300 years, so we're in 38 now, or 39, Islamic calendar, so only about 130 something years, 1300 years now. Like, does that make any sense what I just said? Yeah, 1300 years, right. So for up to 1300, a Islamic calendar, Hijri calendar, that was always been the case, right? I mean, the exact date, I don't know exactly, but I'm just telling you about it. So that's where the 8 came in. And they derived it. So some people, the famous Hanafi scholar, but Hanafis always say 20. So this later Hanafi scholar, Ibn Humam, rahimahullah, very intelligent, but he came very late. He said, you know what? It is sunnah to do 8 and mustahab to do up to 20. So the real sunnah is only 8, and then the extra 12, we said it's recommended. That's the way he looked at it. Which is not an opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, or the early scholars. But you can see how people kind of play with these numbers and so on. So most scholars say when it comes down to it, prayer, it's a supplicatory prayer. It's an extra prayer. Do whatever you want. If you only can pray 2 and have to leave, be at work tomorrow, or you have a test or something, then you pray 2. But if 8 comes and you know what, and you say, you know what, I think I could do 2 more. I don't, like, come to that, I was going to leave at 10 or 10:30 and it's only 10:20, then pray another 2. If you come to do 12, then okay, don't think you have to leave exactly at 8. Some people leave exactly at 8, which, that's fine, if they do have to go home. But if you go 10, 12, 16, and then you have to bail at 16, then okay, no problem. But the point is to do as much as you can and don't necessarily have to do the, make a big argument about it. If you want. So now you guys know the big debate of 8 and 20. We all kind of got it down. You guys know the roots of the issue. Any questions on that?
So there's that Hanafi and Shafi thing on that. Is that what it is?
No, so all opinions. All schools are at 20, and Imam Malik has 2 opinions. He has 20 and 36. 8 is a minority of opinion within maybe the madhab, right? From the Hanafis and from the Shafis or so. But the majority is 20 across the board. Witr is different. How you pray witr, that's a different opinion. That's where the difference of how you pray 1 rakat, 3 rakats, or something, that's another issue. So I don't know if you're mixing up those 2 issues. Question?
During the time of Prophet himself, he did not do that, right? Because he said he was afraid that become obligation or something like that.
Yeah. So that's why he stopped, because he knows there's an extra prayer. And the Prophet always were afraid that if he would add something, Allah would say that it would be incumbent on them. And so he cared for the Muslims. He didn't want to add anything, so he stopped. He said, I'm not coming out anymore, right? And so they started doing it in their own houses, right? But it doesn't mention in these narrations how many cycles of prayer. It's mentioned that he came out and people followed behind him. He came out and people followed behind him. And some narrations say he came out 2 nights and then didn't come out the 3rd. Some narrations say he came out 3 nights and then didn't come out the 4th night. Right? And these were in the last nights of Ramadan. So, anyway.
It's not our phone.
Questions or comments about the Tarawih? Last thing I'm going to go over is the moon sighting. Okay, so moon sighting, I have to stretch for this.
Is that your phone, please? That's not our phone.
I don't know. It's on my phone. That's like an iPad or something. Where's that from? Where's the donation? Keep the iPad. Anyway, so go over moon sighting really quick, inshallah ta'ala. First, I'm going to go over seeing the moon and calculating the moon, and then we'll go over global and local sighting. Okay, so there's 2 issues. There's multiple issues actually. So let's go. So we have this hadith here. The Prophet said in a hadith of Muslim, Sahih Muslim, whenever you see the new moon, a month of Ramadan, observe fasting. And when you sight it, break it at the end of the month. Okay. And if the sky is cloudy, then you observe fast for 30 days. Okay. So let's go. So the 29th day comes. Okay. We don't know if we're going to fast 30 or we're done, or we're going to have eat tomorrow. So the Prophet says that on the 29th fast, when it's coming, when you're about to break your fast on Maghrib time, go outside and look for the moon. Okay? And if you don't see it, or he says that if it's cloudy, then do what? Complete 30. Okay. So from this hadith, what can you derive? I'll let you guys play the mufti role right now. What can you derive? Of how do we know when to start start fasting or ending fasting? What are the means? That's what I mean by that. What can you derive from this hadith? What are the means to end the fast, or to begin, or to have, or to start eat or not to start eat, or for the fast 30 days, or keep it at 29? What is the Prophet? What means did he give us?
Basically, you have 2 options. One option is you physically see the moon or do 30 fast.
So looking, so you have to physically see it, and then the second one will be what?
30 fast, like do another one and then the month will be complete. You can't have more than 30 days.
So what method would that be? Would that be seeing?
You can't see because it's cloudy.
So then you have to do what? That's more
You're guessing, like you.
Stay on the safe side.
It's calculation then. Because how do you know it's 30? Because if you calculated 29. You do the math, right? So here the scholars have said from this hadith, we have 2 means. Number 1 is physically seeing. Number 2 is calculating. Okay? And here, they said these are the only 2 means that you can do it. And if you look at this hadith really closely, calculation will only work if it's cloudy. So how about if you go on the 29 days, but it's not cloudy, and you don't see it? what do?
You still do 30.
You do 30, right? And that is why. Because you calculate or because you didn't see?
Calculating.
Ah. You see how two camps can go both ways? So one camp says, you know, it's only seeing. If it's cloudy, then you can go resort to a calculation. If it's not cloudy, then there's nothing called calculation. If you don't see a cloud, it's over. Don't calculate. You just do 30. Another camp says, no. The Prophet ﷺ has ordained calculation also. That is a legit form of saying whether Ramadan starts or ends or etc., etc., etc. They ran with that, if you will. Okay? So they have that. Another hadith here. Let's read the hadith here. So the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that we went out to perform Umrah, and when we encamped in the valley of Nakhla, we tried to go see the new moon. Some of the people said it was 3 nights old. I don't know if you guys ever seen this. My mom does it all the time. She's like, oh, it's 2-day-old moon. Well, how do you know, Mom? Were you at birth certificate? How do you know it's going to be old? So you can tell the rings on the moon. Like if you would, I'm like, I don't know. Right? So some people say it's a 3-day-old moon. Okay? 3-night-old moon. Others said it is 2-night-old moon. Right? Then we met Ibn Abbas, we told him we had seen the new moon. But some of the people said it was 3 nights old. Others said that it was 2 nights old, meaning that we're late, if you will. He asked, on which night did you see the moon? Ibn Abbas asked, what night did you see the moon? And what night have you seen it? And when we told him that we have seen it on such and such night, he said that the Prophet ﷺ had said, verily Allah deferred it until the time it is seen, so it is be reckoned for you from the night you saw it. So what do you derive from this hadith?
Again, physical. You have to switch physically.
Is there any calculations in this one?
No.
Oh. And is there anything about cloudiness in this one? Oh. So this answers if it's 29 with no clouds, then you just have to keep looking. Obviously, you can't go 31 days. That's just, lunar calendars just don't go 31 days. Alhamdulillah, we don't have that argument. Everyone is in agreement that it only can be 29 and 30. So here they said it's only what? Through ru'ya, yani looking up and seeing it, if you will. And if it's cloudy, then you have to resort to pen and paper. That it has to be 30 days, right? Then we have to do that. So some scholars have said this. So other scholars have said, look, the camp that said you can do calculations, said, look at the Prophet what he said. Going back to this hadith there. He said that on the 30th day, did the Prophet say go out and look at the moon? No, he said there's no benefit for you going out and looking at the moon on the 30th day. Here is this that what calculation is sufficient for. So he's saying that if looking at the moon was something that you only could do, then he would have made it obligatory for you to go out 30 and look out also. And some scholars said no, because the month is already over already. So why are you looking out anyhow? So you see how the two camps once again? Always the same. They take the same hadith and they look both ways. It's not like they have two different hadith. So I'm saying like no, looking is not only the only source, but calculating also. That's why we don't look on the 30th night, because we resort to calculations. Some people say, no, silly. We don't look on the 30th night because you don't need to, right? So you can see how both camps have poked one at each other. So here is that, just going back here, is that some of the scholars said that they combine both. That if we know that the moon is born, and if you guys do moonsighting.com, you guys probably all went to the website. They have those like really crazy charts so you can't understand what they even mean. But they show you when the moon is born and then when it can be seen. Right? They have like little rings on the globe. Right? It only can be seen in like South America and then Hawaii, and then it tells you it's going to be the crescent's only going to be this big, etc. Right? So how about this? How about somebody goes out and says, I saw the moon in Los Angeles, and then we go on to calculations and we see that moon is only going to be visible by the eye, or only going to be born by the time it gets to Hawaii, if you will. What do we do with that person? Do we accept his things, his view of the moon, or no? Scholars say you take both things. He said physically, we use calculations to see what? You saw some UFO, you saw some, some hang glider or some guy in the air. You didn't see some angel or something in there. You didn't see the moon. Because the moon it wasn't born until it got over Hawaii. So therefore, we won't take his sight. But if we knew that it was able to be seen and someone goes out and sees it, then there we're using both. We're using calculation to verify seeing. Understand? Whether that's true or not. That is something that you could use, right? So here, you see the two counts, which way they ran with it, and what they could use, calculation or non-calculation. And honestly, it goes into, and time's really running out, so I'm not trying to go too long. It really goes really, really long. If you want, I could send you, there's a 20 or 30 page paper that Hamza Yusuf Hafidullah wrote on the sighting of the moon. Sheikh Mukhtar Maghrawi wrote another 12-page paper about why calculation can't be used. If you want to, I could send you these documents. You could read it. You could look into it. But at least you know where it comes from, right? And now you understand about people who only do calculations. And yes, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala says in the Quran, "Man minkum shahra shar falyasum." Whoever witnesses shahada, my name is Shahid, right? Witnesses. Whoever shahada ashar, whoever witnesses a month, then let them fast. Now, from the ayah of the Quran, what does that mean? So witnessing can mean what? That you see it. But some people say that witness shahada means that either by someone telling you, or somebody what? By you physically seeing. So here that the verse of the Quran is telling you that you could do calculation, or you could do seeing. Some people say no, that verse of the Quran is only talking about seeing. Witnessing, whoever witnesses the month. Now, if you show up to Ramadan, you know what told you that, and I told you Ramadan starts today, and you didn't see the moon, are you supposed to fast? You're supposed to fast. Of course, I'm an honest person and so forth, right? Right? So here that they said the verse is whoever witnesses the month. I mean, whoever is living and the month comes upon them. So it's not about physically seeing. It's just that if somebody would tell you by calculation or by that someone else saw it. So here the verse of the Quran proves calculation and it proves witnessing. And some people say no, it only proves only viewing of the month. You can see how they run both ways from that. Last thing, and I appreciate your patience, is global sighting or not global sighting. Let's go over this hadith really quick and understand that. So can we, if somebody sees the moon in Pakistan, do we start fasting or we wait till we see it in North America? No. And what does North America mean? Is that America and Canada, or is Mexico included into that? Does Belize, are they included into that? You know, how about Jamaica or no? A lot of issues there. So let's go over this hadith, really interesting. Get to here. It's either for me to read here. Let's go. Okay, so this person was during the time after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, when Muawiyah was the Khalifa of Syria. If you guys remember the history, Muawiyah and Ali were both Khalifa at one time. Okay, so anyhow, so this person went to Syria just after the death of Uthman and so forth. So he says that the daughter of Harith sent Fadl, her son, to Muawiyah in Syria. Fadl arrived in Syria and did the needful for her. Basically, I took care of her task. I was there in Syria and the month of Ramadan commenced. It started. I saw the new moon of Ramadan on Friday. Then I came back to Medina at the end of the month. Towards the end of Ramadan, right, the last 10 nights or something. Abdullah ibn Abbas, a famous Sahabi, asked me about the moon of Ramadan. I said, when did you see it? He said, when did you see it? I said, we saw it on Friday night. He said, did you see it yourself? I said, yes. And the people saw it, so they observed fast on the next day. Muawiyah observed fast. Therefore he said, but we saw it on Saturday night. So shall we continue to observe the fast until we complete 30 fasts, or shall we see the new moon of Shawwal? I said, is the sighting of the moon by Muawiyah not valid for you? Because he's saying you guys saw it on Saturday, we saw it on Friday. So we started one day earlier for you. So when you guys end fast, should I break my fast with you guys, or should I continue with you all, right? Is the sighting of the moon of Muawiyah not valid for you? So Ibn Abbas is not valid for you? He said, no, it is how the Messenger of Allah had commanded us. Yahya ibn Yahya was in doubt whether they use the word or so forth. So here he's saying that if Muawiyah said that, if he's in another country, and Syria is even by plane is at least an hour or two away, probably a little bit more, that is valid for them. That they're sighting a moon, even though people in Medina saw it, So therefore, this is proof for what? Each individual place has their own sighting. North America, Saudi Arabia, Japan, and so forth. Okay? So let me make you more confused now, because it's always fun to do that. Let's read this hadith here. Right? So Abu Umayyah reported that on the authority of some of his paternal uncles who were the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, some men came riding to the Prophet ﷺ. They came into Medina on horses and testified that they had sighted the new moon the previous day, the new moon of Shawwal, the ending of Ramadan. He, the Prophet ﷺ, therefore commanded the people to break their fast and go to the place of prayer the next morning. So there, the Prophet, people in Medina is on 30th fast. Some people come in for, let's say from Chicago, say, you guys are fasting today? We saw the moon on the 29th day. It's Eid today. Serious? So the Prophet said, hey everybody, break your fast. Now we can't pray Eid because Eid's only allowed to do between Fajr time and after Fajr, until Dhuhr time. So he said, guess what? Tomorrow we're going to pray Eid because now we're too late. So here, the Prophet went for what? Local or global? Global. This hadith was about what?
Local.
Local. I just made you local, right? Exactly. Now you don't know what to do, right? The key thing, and scholars are very, we don't put down scholars, they're not just like silly individuals, they really think deeply. This hadith, why don't they work on this hadith? Majority of the opinion of most scholars of the madhab are of global sighting. Okay? But then what do you do with this hadith? Well, they said what? It was too late, right, for them to start. Because he came, what? In the last of Ramadan and said, we started. So could Ibn Abbas say, you guys, everyone cut back one day? No, it's already over. Can't do that anymore. It's done. But in this hadith here, the Prophet couldn't. We got the news that you guys saw the moon. Okay, we can end, because that's a legit time to end 30 days. You can end a fast on 29 days or 30. So therefore he stopped. But the last hadith you can't stop now because they're already started, if you will. Right? So therefore, that's how they view the hadith and kind of push it to the side. And that's why they go by global sighting. So what happens if it's daytime for us now? Let's say 7 o'clock in the morning, right? And let's say, I don't know, Fiji sees the moon, right? They're in the Pacific Ocean. What do? Can we start fasting? No, our day already started. So scholars say we get a global sighting, but how do we reach that news in enough time for us to start our fast? And how about that Taraweeh the night before? We didn't do it. Taraweeh is a sunnah, so we push it to the side. That's not an excuse. If you don't have Taraweeh, then Khalas is over. You missed it, Big deal. Okay? But how do we know? So now you see a bunch of different opinions. And so how do we get that and so forth? So some people to global, some people to local. I give you guys the two proofs here. The majority of the opinion is from global sighting. Right? So now you guys understand the issue? Any questions or comments on it?
Plus global at the time of Muhammad Sallallahu was a few hundred miles. Now,
Exactly.
Now we're talking about the other side of the world. So
Exactly.
it'll be difficult.
So how do the scholars look at that? So, but that was their means of transportation and receiving knowledge. Because he came, the travelers came in, to Medina from, they're not internet obviously, so they only come, whatever that time is from there to come into a journey. So they celebrated Eid on the 29th, so they only had 1 day's journey to come in. So what's 1 day's journey? So usually 1 day's journey is like only 20 miles or something. A 3 days journey for the Arabs were 48 miles. So let's say for 10 miles away, right? So, but now we can have, someone can text you from Japan, right, or from Pakistan in seconds. So guys, we saw the moon, there's a picture of it too. We do a live stream, we can do Facebook Live, I can show you it, And so that changed now, so that for us not really consideration. That was, for them, that's still a local sighting, right? So here is that they do that to global, if you will. But like I said, how about if we see the moon, but Pakistan already started their day? What do you do? So they can't. They have to start their fast the next day. Right? They can't fast on 10 o'clock. Their day is already over. Right? So now you understand a lot of the issues here. When it comes down to it, I want you all guys to basically focus on one hadith that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in hadith in Tirmidhi, where it says, Sumu yawma tasumun wa iftar yawma taftiru wa adhayu yawma tudhun. The Prophet ﷺ said that start your fasting when people start their fasting, and break your fast when the people break their fast. Meaning when the Jama'ah starts fasting, go with the Jama'ah. And when the Jama'at ends a fasting, go to Jama'at. If they pray, if they do local, if they do global, that's it. The unity is also very important, and they're both opinions for that, and I just kind of told you. Yeah, global kind of seems like the majority of the opinion here, but anyhow, it's out to do it. That's the best thing to do. And I know sometimes in cities, two masjids could have different Eids, and that's really weird. But there's nothing wrong for you to go to their Eid celebration and pray Eid with them and eat all their, you can't eat food that you're fasting. At least hug and kiss with them and, have balloons or something. And the next day go to your Eid. There's nothing wrong with that. Alhamdulillah, barakah for both prayers. It's just, that's fine, right? Yes, Qadi, Hafidullah mentioned that. Just go ahead, nothing wrong with that. So anyhow, it's good to keep unity, especially within the families, and not to split up families and so forth. Any questions? Sorry, I really appreciate you guys staying 30 minutes late. I know we started 30 minutes. I hope that was beneficial, inshallah. So at least give you some background on some of the issues. Any questions or comments before we wrap up? طيب, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Rahman Rahim, to give us a successful fast, Ya Rabbil Alameen, to accept our fast coming from this month of Ramadan, to accept us and bless all the Muslims and give us unity, Ya Kareem, Ya Rabbil Alameen, to have a joyous Ramadan and joyous Eid. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik, nashhadu la ilaha illa ant, nastaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, wal 'asr, innal insana lafi khusr. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاك الله خير. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll see you guys next week.